there's only been one conversation with Danny Rohl, according to Scott's sources. And although it went well, Rangers have yet to decide if they want to have another chat. Now, that's interesting because, and I think Scott will allude to it in his story, that there might be dissenting voices inside the command centre at Rangers. And I think there seems to be a suggestion that, hold on, perhaps we should be looking for somebody with a bit more managerial experience. And I think that seems to be the conversation that's taking place right now. And there does seem to be some internal backing for Kevin Muscat. But that's interesting because as of late this afternoon, as far as I'm aware, and I'm fairly certain that the information is right, there's been no attempt to reach out to Kevin Muscat or to set up a talk, set up talks, or to initiate a discussion of any kind. So, you know, that you'd think with time being a bit of an issue now, if they were wanting to try and have a discussion with Kevin Muscat, and let's not forget, Kevin Muscat did get through to the interview process at the time when they selected Philippe Clement. He was very, very keen on the job at that moment in time. He's now in the Chinese Super League. He's sitting top of the table with Shanghai Port just now. I think there's only about 4 games to go, but I think that extends all the way through towards the end of November. Would he be willing to walk away from that? Who knows? But also, and I think I mentioned on the show a couple of weeks ago, something that's been a bit misreported in terms of Kevin Muscat is, the Chinese season ends in a few weeks from now, but he's got another year in his contract. So if Rangers were to make a move there, that would obviously involve a fairly large compensation fee. Slaven Bilic appears to have entered the running, and certainly in terms of what the bookies are saying, I'm always wary of that because that all, Swanee knows better than me. Somebody sticks a fiver on, and all of a sudden the odds come tumbling down at a stroke. So I can't at this moment in time. I don't know how serious a contender Slaven Bilic would be if he is at all. And then of course the constant obvious one that's sitting right in front of everybody's face is Derek McInnes. And my information again on that, as of late this afternoon, there has been no attempt made by Rangers to start a conversation with him either. So for all those reasons, Danny Rohl would still be in position A, given that he's at least got in front of them and had a chat. But a 36-year-old guy with not even 2 full seasons under his belt as a manager, and the 1 full season that he got at Sheffield Wednesday, he finished 12th in the Championship. I said it last night, I say it again. On what basis would that qualify him to be involved in discussions about becoming the next Rangers manager? It looks like a ludicrously high level risk factor attached to that on the back of what's just happened with Russell Martin. So that's the state of play. And it'll be fascinating to see because clearly moves will have to get made. I think it's gone midnight now in Shanghai, so unless they're going to get Kevin Muscat out of his bed, unlikely for anything to happen on that front over the next few hours. But you would imagine if there is a willingness or a wish to involve him in the conversation, somebody somewhere needs to pick up a phone.
We've got plenty of comments coming in. If you want to get involved, let us know what you think of the Rangers managerial situation. We'll also talk a little bit about Scotland later on as well. Swanee, one of the comments early on from Scott says, one conversation with Rohl, that doesn't sound like they're all in at all. And it doesn't really, does it?
There's so many strands to what Keith spoke about there that are just worth picking up on. We touched on Hotline Live on several occasions. It was hard to imagine. Rangers could hardly appoint Russell Martin and then the following week be looking for who his successor was going to be. They could never have planned that they would be having to go on the hunt this quickly. However, I think it's been fairly evident for quite some time that it wasn't happening for Russell Martin, and there had to be some sort of knowledge that it was going to be another bad result or the next one's going to be the time up. They must have known a good 2-3 weeks ago that this has got the potential to go pear-shaped, and already had the feelers out. Football clubs never cease to amaze me at the fact that this result at Falkirk is just something like, I'm going to have to get rid of the manager. I better start looking. As if this is just... The Rangers supporters have been telling the Rangers hierarchy, basically from the minute Russell Martin walked in the door, but certainly for the last 4 weeks, you best start looking for a new manager, guys. So everything that Keith's telling us here, you find hard to comprehend in the fact that they aren't further down the road. So you think to yourself, is there someone that we don't know about that they are down the road with that we haven't been able to uncover as yet? Who knows? We don't know. These guys are new in the door at Rangers. We don't really know their workings, how they go about things. We're told Kevin Thelwell's a man of football. He should have the contacts. He should have the people. He should be able to get to folks. So you can only look at it from the outside and say the Russell Martin thing is almost like, okay, we just did it. Went to Steven Gerrard. That'll be an easy fix. Steven Gerrard knows the club. Great. The fans like him. That's handy. Oh, no. Steven Gerrard said no. now what? And... like I say, if that was just one but if Russell Martin had turned around that day at Falkirk after winning 8 games in a row and said, look, lad, something's come up in life, I'm going to have to walk away, then you can understand them being stumped. Mm-hmm. But this didn't happen in a day.
That's incredible. It's mismanagement, Swanee. You're absolutely right.
And it really, I mean, to be in a situation like that, the only caveat I'm going to put to it is there someone they're miles down the road with? But I'd like to think the majority of us lads are not too bad at our jobs, and I'm sure somebody would have found out.
Yeah, I mean,
it doesn't seem to be the case at this point. It really doesn't.
Yeah, honestly, Swanee, the kind of you're looking now. You're going to the obvious places. Where's the obvious kind of place that they might look to start a conversation, and there's no conversations taking place at any of them.
Yeah,
and that is staggering, given that here we are on Monday and Rangers have got the D United at Ibrox at the weekend.
Yeah, there's two things there, Keith. The one thing I would say is you're in such a short time frame. The guys they might be going to now are guys that know they were overlooked in the summer. Straight away. Mm-hmm. Well, you come to me now? Now, that depends, and people might say, well, it's Rangers, of course they'll accept the job, but we've spoken about it before, the influx of players that have come in the door since Russell Martin. The new manager's going to have to cope with that, whereas before he would have been able to maybe set his own stamp and get his own 20-25 million pounds worth of players in. Now he's not. Now he's lumbered with these ones. That moves the goalpost for those guys as well. And the other thing is, this Dundee United game on Saturday, Rangers fans just need to forget about that. Just forget about it. This appointment is so important that it doesn't matter if they need to go 1 or 2 weeks without a proper appointment. This has to be got right. Mm-hmm. Can't just get someone in to make sure they're in time for the game on Saturday, and you're back in a Russell Martin situation in 3 weeks from now.